Welcome to the first annual Qualico Mixed Doubles Classic, brought to you from the Bow Valley in beautiful Alberta, Canada. Our host venues are the Banff Curling Club in the iconic Banff National Park, and the Canmore Golf and Curling Club in the gateway to the Canadian Rockies. The event is proudly sponsored by Qualico. We create what we believe in. The Malcolm. Experience Canmore's crown jewel. Vision Electronics. Your best price. And Bow Valley Credit Union. Growing together. The Qualico Mixed Doubles Classic. Up next. Welcome to Banff and 9 o'clock draw number 4 here in Banff. We are live on live stream. Our feature game right now is Moncur playing against Peterman and Gallant. So we're looking forward to a great match. The games have just got underway and we'll be bringing you the feed and commentary shortly. Playing on our other sheets this morning, on sheet number 1 we have the junior team out of Banff, Vilmar and Ishida, playing against world and Olympic champions Jones and Lang, not in mixed doubles of course. Officers and Carruthers playing against Pincott and Dunstan, a game we want to keep an eye on. That should be a really close match with some great curlers playing against each other. And on sheet number 4 we've got Albrecht Wozniak playing against Good and Guy. Good morning, everyone. We are now on the last shots for the middle throwers. In this case, it's Gallant, who's on the Peterman Gallant team, who's throwing the middle 3 shots. Of course, that means Jocelyn Peterman throwing the first and the 5th stones in the mixed doubles rules. So we have quite a bunch of rocks out in front, all belonging to Moncur, and in behind them we have, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, trying to be 5 stones for Peterman Gallant. So certainly looking to get off to a really early and great start here in this game. Here we are, we're down to the last stones in this first end. Not an enviable position for Moncur, but as we look at the setups here, lots of guards out front. What you can't see is from the center line right for about 3 feet, we have 3 blue rocks in a Christmas tree formation. On the left, just off the center line, we've got a blue and an overlapping yellow. The one shot opportunity here is if Moncur can get around the outside of that yellow one, they can come down to the face of the back yellow that's just behind the tee line and actually get shot rock. Of course, they're going way out where they've not been, trying to get around here. Looks like they're going to get by. They need the weight though. If they have the weight, this could be an excellent shot. They could get themselves out of a huge jam. Here it comes. They're sweeping hard. Do they have enough to get it in there? Can they get it in there for shot, or at least to count down some others? Well, an excellent attempt. It looks like they at least cut down the very back yellow, but Peterman Gallant here are going to have a draw in for 4 to get off to a great start. But as we've learned throughout the games so far this week, a 4-point lead is not insurmountable. You might remember yesterday in our feature game in Canmore, we had Tran Peterman playing against Laws and Morris. After an early 3-ender by Laws and Morris, Tran and Peterman came right back with a 5-ender, and the game was on. So it is early times here. Teams are getting used to the ice here first thing in the morning, but a great opportunity here for Peterman Gallant to get out to a great lead and really take a stronghold on this game. I think this does show the importance, especially in early ends, to really find which team can adjust to the ice first. If you can use the practice and observing the other team and really pick up on the speed and the draw early, and the other team doesn't. This is a great example of what can happen in a game and how a team can get out to a really good early start by being able to be the first to pick up on that. So Jocelyn's thrown it away. The guard does not look to be in play, but Gallant's trying to not only curl it over to get it into the forefoot, which is what they need if they're going to outcount the top blue, but also the weight. It's coming in nice. Both of them are pounding it hard to try and get it there. And we get in close. Did they do it? Did they do it? Oh, it does look like they've got it there. It does look from this angle that that will be 4 yellow. Just waiting for confirmation. And yes, it is. We've got no measurement. So Peterman and Gallant making a statement. Of course, I would feel sorry to be Moncur and Moncur this morning only because yesterday Peterman and Gallant, who were the favored in this pool, suffered an early loss to Albrecht and Wozniak, something I don't think they would have anticipated. So certainly they've come out this morning. They need to get this win under their belt to make sure that they stay up in their pool, because only the top 2 teams out of each pool advance to the championship, which is where you earn the money. So I'm really certain that Peterman and Gallant are coming this morning, and fortunately for Moncur and Moncur, they're going to have to play against a team that needs and wants a win. Talking about Moncur and Moncur, though, we should say that yesterday they played an amazing game in Canmore and upset Desjardins Desjardins, a very competent Canadian team that's won a mixed doubles event this year over in across the pond, and have had a very successful year. We'll get to meet them a little bit later in one of our broadcasts. So Moncur and Moncur actually 1-0, upsetting a top team. So I'm sure Peterman and Gallant know that and were able to see that because they were playing in an opposite sheet last night, so they're not going to take this team for granted. And in a few moments we'll learn a little bit about Moncur and some of their background. They aren't just a local club curling, they have some great curling background in that team. So play underway here in the second end. As in the mixed doubles rule, we have the team with last rock placing a guard out front. In our case, it's point 2. Position 2 is the front part of 4.5 feet in front of the house. The team with last rock has their rock in the back of the house, with the back of the rock touching the back 4. So that's the setup for each end, and we're underway here. Jocelyn's draw not quite coming over and leaving it exposed then behind the tee line, which is to the advantage of Moncur and Moncur, who can now draw down on top of their own, but they have some backing and they have a chance to freeze, which will make it very hard for Gallant and Peterman to get it out. So here comes a shot by Becky. Becky Moncur and Scott Moncur are the 2 names. They are husband and wife team. Becky looks to have a nice one coming in. It seems to be a bit light, but she has great ice selection. So at least it's covering up. A chance here now for Peterman and Gallant to come in on the other side and get one on top. So certainly a bit of an opportunity wasted there by Becky and Scott, but Peterman and Gallant need to make their shot here to take advantage of it. Should say this morning, for anybody who's a skiing fan, we had tons of snow overnight. In fact, when we scraped the car this morning at a balmy 7 a.m., we had probably about a foot of snow on top of it. So any skiers, I'm sure, are on their way out to the hill today to take great advantage of a powder day. Well, Brett making a great shot. Not only did he come around the center and actually over curl around the center, he's able to bump the blue end back and get on top of his own. Again, Peterman and Gallant setting themselves up early in this end in a great position. But as we saw yesterday and we continue to see today, there's great curl in this ice. So certainly available to Scott to get around to this. And with both those yellow rocks being behind the tee line, at least room for 2 more on top that can score. So here comes Scott. Well, Becky's on it early. Weight looks good. They must be worried a bit about line. But here it curls. Looks like weight and line are really good. It's got to slow down just a bit. Well, it did move back the yellows a little bit, keeping a little more room for future shots. But as you can see, it doesn't take much, just half a rock to cause that to spill over, and it leaves another opportunity for Peterman and Gallant to come around and sink another one on that staggered guard formation up front. So certainly Peterman and Gallant in that first end getting their draw weight and once again keeping it this end. Well, I like it. It's not on it yet, but he's starting to go. This has got a good angle coming into the house. The weight looks perfect. He's got to go a little bit, it seems, but no. Here it comes. They're letting it curl as much as it can. They do want it to stay above the tee line because if they go behind, it'll just give a chance for Moncur and Moncur to come down, and that's what we have here. So certainly a bit of room for Moncur and Moncur to get down for shot rock, but that 4-foot's getting really crowded, and it's hard to score a lot of points when you've got 3 opponent stones that are 2 in the 4 and 1 just behind it in the 8. Looks like Scott's looking at potentially peeling out here. Obviously with last rock, you don't like having centerline guards, and opening it up would certainly give them a better chance at getting at that mess in behind that does not belong to them. But of course in mixed doubles, with the limited amount of rocks you get to throw and the fact that you can't remove any stones to the 4th rock, we do not see a lot of takeouts because it's a very aggressive game where it's hard to throw a rock away in a hit. We have no final indication, but it looked like from our angle, the way Scott was looking and lining up that center line yellow, that he is going to try and make a play on it and hopefully hit it across the top of the blue. If he's fortunate enough, he'll clip about half that blue on the way by, which will drive it back into the yellow pile. Or if he hits it a little bit more solid, maybe it'll go by, but at least he'll clear both out. But he certainly wants to try and get on the left side of this rock. I would say probably about half of that yellow stone. If he can clip that perfectly, I think he can drive that blue back and get rid of both guards and possibly get one into scoring position. They've got to go hard though. This seems to be over curling, and it is. I think he'll just get the right side. And well, I know they did want to remove that yellow as the primary suspect because they would be able to advance that blue rock. But at least got rid of one guard that was covering, and they certainly will be able to get access to the yellow stone now from both sides. So Peterman and Gallant can't block both sides up. But they're going to stay aggressive here. Looks like they're throwing another guard, another draw. They're trying to put it right down on top to lie 4. As we get near the end of this first end. Just quickly looking across the sheets to the other games and seeing what's going on. We have over on sheet 2, Officer and Crothers have taken the early 1-0 lead, stealing that point. And over on sheet 1, we see that Lang and Jones were able to take 1 in the first end. So a bunch of 1-0 games, except for our sheet here on 3, where that early 4 by Peterman and Gallant has given them a bit of a commanding lead. But as we saw yesterday, Moncur and Moncur took down Desjardins, a top team. So certainly they have the skill to come back. And with 8 ends and the rules in mixed doubles, lots of time and lots of opportunity. Gallant once again drawing one right down on top, creating actually good angles, over curling a little bit on the right side, making it really hard for Scott to execute a shot and get shots. So looks like the Moncurs are going to need to use their next 2 remaining shots to either try and get 1 or at least cut this pile down. Now Scott's let it go and Becky's on it quick. She's off. It's always a good sign when you're on and off, on and off. Here it comes. It's starting to go hard. This looks like a really good shot. It is really moving in nice for Scott and Becky. Well, I tell you, that's about as good a shot as you could throw in that situation. It does leave Peterman and Gallant sitting 2. It does leave them a chance with a soft come around to try and push the blue across the yellow, but they certainly put themselves as a top rock and given them a chance to come in and either tap that one back or hit the yellow into the other yellows and get shot rock. So a great shot there by Scott set up an opportunity where there wasn't much that they had going on until this point. The indication from Jocelyn seems to be they want to draw down and block off that right side to take away the tap of the blue. It would leave the run yellow on the top 4-foot yellow into the button 1 to split off for Scott and Becky, but that's no easy shot. As we said yesterday, Becky Moncur and Scott Moncur, they used to curl in Canmore. In fact, they're originally both from Ontario. And they moved to Canmore in 2010, where they played out of, and then recently in 2015 went to Cochrane, where now they play at the Calgary Curling Club. As we said, even though they're deemed club curlers in our event, Scott himself has won the men's league in Canmore. He's teamed with Becky to win the mixed league, and Becky was on a mixed ladies team that won the ladies club championship there. So as club curlers, they're some of the top ones out there and have some great pedigree. Well, looks like I was not correct in what I thought Jocelyn was calling. She actually came down the other side to take away the opportunity to come at that rock. I think it was a great call because that's where the exposure lay for them to possibly give up a two. It's going to require Becky to come down and just advance her blue rock into the pocket. And if she hits it perfectly, which she can, she could get one. If not, then hopefully we'll run into that yellow one, spin it out, and at least only give up a steal of one. Wasn't looking good early on, but a great shot by Scott set up this opportunity, and it's very much there for Becky to come around. Like we said, 6 feet of curl yesterday. It looks like we're similar to that today. So yeah, backline weight should be able to get to nose of that blue and drive it right back into a shot position. Oh, rack, here we go. We've got Becky just coming out of the hack. She's let it go. Scott's coming to this side of the stone to sweep, which means he's trying to directionally sweep to hold it out there so it doesn't over curl. It needs to curl though a little bit. It needs to curl. They need to make some contact with that blue stone. Any contact should get them to second shot. I don't know. It may have just spun enough. Nope. The early indication is a quick two for yellow. Swept it a little early. Might have just held it out. Maybe a bit of a miss on the how much weight was coming down versus line. Certainly thought it might have been a bit inside and jumped on it quick, but it didn't come enough. So Peterman and Gallant taking advantage of great draw, weight, and great control to take a steal of two and jump out to a 6-4 lead. Peterman and Gallant, of course, are no stranger to the competitive curling scene. We did get to meet Lowell Peterman yesterday, Jocelyn's dad, who's playing with Brittany Tran in this event. And we do know that Jocelyn Peterman, a 2011 silver medalist in the Canada Winter Games, and in 2012 a Canadian Junior Championship, defeating Shannon Burchard, who's here as well, playing alongside Caitlin Schneider. Jocelyn played in the Alberta Scotties and then the Canadian Scotties with Chelsea Carey in 2016, where they won both events. And in 2016, she teamed up with Brent Gallant in their first ever mixed doubles championship, and they won the Canadian mixed doubles championship that year. She's currently playing with Jennifer Jones, a team that she joined this year after the retirement of Jill Officer. She throws second stones for that team. We're underway here where Jocelyn's throwing her first stone. It seems to be a bit heavy as it's staying out. I expect this one to go past the back blue. Might get a little rub. No, and it seems to just be looking to get to the back 12. So uncharacteristic for what we've seen so far this game. But as we know, all curlers are human, no matter what level they play at. Chance here for Becky to come down and bury one and take a little bit of an early advantage into the third end here. Where Jocelyn won silver medal at the Canada Winter Games in 2011. In 2007, Brett Gallant won bronze at the Canada Winter Games. From 2006 to 2010, he represented PEI at the Canadian Juniors, and he finally was able to win it in his fourth attempt in 2009, and he repeated it in 2010. In fact, not so known fact is that Brett Gallant holds the record for the most wins in a Canadian Junior Championship with 48. He set that after the win in 2010. In the 2009 World Junior, he lost in the finals to Denmark's Rasmus Stern, who many of us will know from watching international curling. Rasmus Stern playing for Denmark. So certainly losing to a great curler, but also some great accomplishments for Brett so far in his career. He is a member of Team Gushu, silver medal at the Brier, and in 2018 and 19 they followed that 2017 silver medal up with 2 wins and 2 world championships. One world championship in 2018 and a second in 2019, all with Team Gushu. They have won Team Gushu 10 Grand Slam events. We should also note that Brett's parents, Kathy and Peter Gallant, are former Canadian mixed champions. So, looking at the house right now, we have yellow sitting shot. That's Peterman and Gallant. We've got the Moncur sitting second, just in the back four. And two other rocks that are hanging around the back that probably won't come into play, but they might if a few rocks start to move around here. Looks like Scott, though, is going to try and draw around, probably get a tap off that yellow, and try and get right in towards the button. All right, rock over curling, a little bit light, but still in position in the house. As we all know, when you've got a lot of rocks in the house, the other team does get a bit nervous because it doesn't take but a shot or a few angle hits, and you can certainly make rocks move and score a big end. So certainly what Moncur need here is rocks in play, and they have it, but now they need to get theirs closer than Peterman Gallant. But here Gallant is on fire this game. Once again, he has drawn the pin. I think that might be the 5th shot in a row that he's drawn the pin. Certainly showing that he's figured out the ice for this morning and must be feeling really confident because he keeps repeating the same thing over and over with great success. I just want to give a quick shout out. We have Paul Studeman, who actually is on the board here at the Banff Curling Club. He's away, so not able to be here for the event, but he's out there watching. Welcome, Paul. Great to have you. Should also mention that this live streaming we're bringing to you, Paul was instrumental in working with our crew that's here today to get this set up. So Paul and the Banff Center, thank you very much for all your help to make sure we could bring this event to everybody who's out there watching. And we have quite a few people, so welcome to all of you, and thank you for watching. And if you have any comments, please feel free to send them through, and we'll try our best to take the time to answer those. Coming back to our game, we've got Scott. He's throwing his shot down here. It's trying to curl over, but his weight's up a little bit, and it's going to sail a bit outside. 3 more feet of weight, and you see the difference between what Gallant ended up with and what Scott. Once again, though, at least they have 4 rocks in play. They aren't the best 4 rocks, but they're 4 rocks, and if those 2 yellows ever get moved around, certainly a chance to score a lot of points. So Peterman and Gallant will have to be careful here, at least in their throws, to not leave that opportunity. By my recollection, it's Peterman's 6th attempt in a row to draw the button, and the line looks perfect. By the on-off sweeping, the weight looks perfect. Let's see if he's once again done it, and absolutely like a machine this morning. Once again, perfect draw weight, great line, and the angle on those means if you're ever to hit them, that yellow's definitely going to go back to the crotch of those 2 blue stones and won't be able to get out. So a little bit of problem being posed here for Moncur and Moncur. They've run into a team that wants a win, needs a win, is playing really well, and the angles aren't looking the best for them here. They do have that top blue rock that they can advance back, try and hit it straight back. Might be able to get a little bit of a curl into the button to get 1 point, but certainly not an enviable position. The good news is they have more than 1 rock to throw here. They've got 2 left, so they've got a bit of an opportunity to jiggle these around and maybe find a way to get into that pin. But right now, Peterman and Gallant taking great control of this end, as they have the game so far. As we take a quick peek over on sheet 1, we have the junior team of Vilmar Ishta, who are from the Banff Curling Club. We'll meet them later on in the week, holding their own against Jones and Lang, obviously 2 well-known top curlers with different teams, and trying to do the same here, mixed doubles. Jones and Lang did steal 1 in the second end, but only a 2-0 lead over Vilmar and Ishta as they head into the third end. Well, doing the prudent thing, Scott took out the top rock so that they have great access to those yellows in the house to hopefully be able to generate a point out of this, or if nothing else, cut that down. Didn't see the final call by Gallant and Peterman, but I would expect one of 2 things, either drawing another one on top of their yellow or putting a guard up there, taking away the opportunity to hit and move around all those yellows and maybe find that they're sitting 1 in the end of it. When Jocelyn comes out, if she's letting this go at the outside 12, I'd say it's a guard. If she's letting it go closer to the middle of the 12, we're looking more like a draw. So the rock's underway and it's out. Gallant is right on it. Obviously feeling the need to either hold it out there or get it across the line. I think it's more the other. The weight looks good. He's off it. He's on it. And here it comes. He's now changed the other way. As you can see him moving around, trying to decide whether he wants to help it or hold it, which is always a good sign. Means it's probably a really good shot. As it comes to a rest as a guard out front, it's almost perfectly dissecting that center line. So as you look at the house there, you can imagine about 2 feet in front of the house, dissecting the center line, there is a yellow guard. I mean, you're really looking at 2 possible shots for Moncur. Moncur, you can try and thinly hit the shot stone and catch the back yellow and give up 1, or you can try and tap back your blue. Probably won't be able to get to shot, but there is a probably half of a foot placement that you could get that blue rock to give up only a steal of 1. You can drive that yellow guard into this bunch. It would be a better angle to try and remove the yellows that are in the forefoot and the button. The only problem with that is if you hit it wrong, you could give up a bundle, and something that they can't really afford to do this early in the game, being down 6-0 already. Just a quick update from Sheet 4. We have Albrecht and Wozniak playing Good and Guy. You can see Matt Wozniak coming down the ice over there. They've managed to score once again in 2, so we have Wozniak and Albrecht and Wozniak, sorry, up 2-0 on Good and Guy. Good and Guy lost their first game of this event yesterday, while we said earlier Albrecht and Wozniak upset Peterman and Gallant and have an early lead in the pool along with Moncur and Moncur. The other teams that are actually playing this morning over in Canmore that are part of this pool are Sigvaldsson, McMillan, and Desjardins. Sigvaldsson and McMillan winning yesterday against Good and Guy. So the 3 teams that are 1-0 are Albrecht, Wozniak, Moncur, and Sigvaldsson, McMillan. Here comes the last shot of this end. Looks like they're trying to pick out that back yellow one and maybe get the double with it. They're curling, sweeping really hard. It looks like he's got the piece of it. Does he have enough to move them? Oh, and even the rub off their blue one won't get in there for enough. So it looks like it'll be another steal for Peterman and Gallant. We're waiting for the final word, but it did look like they took 3 this end. Well, we're early on and we're deep into it. So at this time, we want to just take a moment to thank our sponsors. As we've said throughout the broadcast, big thanks to Qualico, who are our major sponsor. We have our silver sponsors, the Malcolm Hotel, which is located in Canmore, Vision Electronics, Bow Valley Credit Union, and a number of both curling and local businesses who are supporting this event. Without these sponsors, we would not be able to bring you this wonderful event with a wonderful group of competitors in a beautiful spot as Banff and Canmore. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Well, we're getting ready to start the 4th end, the middle end of our frame. 9-0 is our score by Peterman and Gallant. After a loss yesterday to Albrecht and Wozniak, we knew that they can't afford many more if they're to make it through the championship. We knew they'd bring game today. They certainly have. And they have, by my recollection, not had any misses. They've had a few partial misses, but no misses at all. And Gallant, who is throwing the middle 3 stones for this team, has had his button draw weight down all game, and they've certainly figured out the ice as they've been able to get around that center guard and put it on the button time after time. Moncur and Moncur are not playing as bad as the score indicates. They've been throwing a lot of great stones, but they've come up against a team that is firing on all cylinders and very driven to get themselves back into this pool and make sure that they don't let any team get away from them. As we've talked about before, this event is 36 teams, 6 pools of 6. The top 2 teams out of each pool will earn a chance to play in the championship round. The top 4 of those going right to the semi-finals, while the other 8 will play off for a chance to get into the semi-finals. $1,000 is the minimum win by anybody who makes the championship round, and of course our champion will win $10,000, runner-up $5,000. So a lot of stake here for these curlers, and I imagine as we get through the next few days we'll start to see the competition heat up. A nice throw there by Becky, able to pick that yellow one off top of their blue and move it out and roll over to sit 2, both behind the tee line, which gives Peterman and Gallant a lot to work with, but still blue lying 2 early in this end, and we'll see if Brett Gallant can continue his button drawing. This is, by my recollection, his 7th attempt to draw the pin in a row. We'll see if he can do it once again. He's jumping on it now. I think it's more to directionally sweep it in. Weight does look really good, but he's going hard now to try and get it over there, and I think now to try and drive it in. But a great shot. It's going to bury itself around this guard. Staying above the button is wonderful because that does give them some control there and makes it hard to get at it. Along with both the Banff and Canmore curling clubs, who have been huge supporters of this, over 65 volunteers are working at this event. We have the town of Canmore and the town of Banff who've been very supportive at each facility and in each town in embracing this event, as well as embracing the club's support of this event, helping out in a number of ways. And we've just learned that the town of Banff has sent out our live stream to an audience of people. So hopefully we'll gain even more people watching us. And a big thanks to the town of Banff for keeping an eye on this and making sure the word gets out so that lots of people have a chance to watch it. Well, Brett's coming down now on the left side, trying to draw around on top of his yellow. Going for 8 draws the button in a row, but I think this one's going to come up a little bit light on this side. Still will be an effective guard for them, blocking the path to the 4-foot for Moncur. So, as they always say, a good plan B. And once again, as Scott sits in the hack, he's looking down at a difficult situation, but he has a chance here to draw around on top of that yellow. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're come around on the outside here and try and get a rock on top of that yellow, something they can play with later in the end and use to hopefully generate a few points here and get themselves back in the game. Needs to curl a bit. Becky's trying to help it a bit there. The weight looks really good now, and here it comes. So it looks like Scott's got a really good shot coming in here. Want to try and get it over there. They don't want to leave it exposed, but they do want to leave it above the yellow, which they've done. That way, if Gallant and Peterman try to remove it and they don't quite get the curl, it might inch over into that yellow and create an opportunity. Looks like Peterman and Gallant are going to come down this right side, I would suspect, leaving a higher guard. If they're trying to play defense to try and secure that stone. The aggressive play would be to try to draw around and get to the inside of that blue so that it makes it difficult to raise it back, but also any contact would remove the blue out safely. And that looks like what they're doing. Jocelyn's going hard here to hold the line. Looks like they have the weight. They just want to get it down on top of that blue or right by it if they can. And Jocelyn's going really hard here. And it didn't quite get in to get to second shot. So opportunity here for Moncur, and Moncur with that blue stone exposed, they could slash it in on that yellow, and it certainly would be behind cover, and they would be sitting 2. But Scott's looking at maybe wanting to open it up as another way of getting to those stones. So a couple of options. I like the slash myself if you know the line, because anything from a quarter and less, that's going sideways and it's going to hit something, move it, and stay there. So looks like Scott's looking at that now. But I do know he's also considering opening the front up again with the 3 blue in the house. There is a chance to score some multiples if they can open up and expose that top yellow. As they go down and get ready to throw their next stone, should tell you about Scott Moncur. As we said, they came from Ontario. He actually went to the University of Windsor, and while he was there, he skipped the University of Windsor curling team, and he did so to a silver medal at the Canadian Championship. So certainly no slouch as a player. When he got Becky into curling when they were together, and she started curling, and she had 2 goals. Those 2 goals were, one, to meet Caitlin Laws, and second, to curl against Cheryl Bernard. And they were happy this morning when I talked to them before the game to let me know that she has accomplished both of those. I did ask them what's the best and worst part about playing as a couple in mixed doubles. The best part, they said, was that they get to spend time together and the grandparents take the kids, which is, well, that's a great thing to have. And the worst is the added pressure of having to not let down your partner who is your spouse. So certainly a great couple and a great team out there in great spirits, even though they're down 9-0 and still generating some offense. A great shot there. They just tapped that blue over, didn't go for the takeout. They went for just a tap. So it is corner hooked on that yellow. So any contact with that blue rock will remove that yellow and leave them sitting 2. They also have the outside blue one to run into that blue. So lots of options that Peterman and Gallant have to face here. It looks like Jocelyn wants to remove that blue and probably roll over so they take away the chip off of that that back blue and into the yellow. So certainly Scott in that last shot with Becky sweeping, setting up a bit of an opportunity here for themselves. And because they have that back blue that's sitting there, there is a chance for a multiple score here if Jocelyn isn't careful on her shot here. So they're settled down in the hack now. Jocelyn getting ready to throw. And electing to have Brett down there to sweep. We've seen that a lot. A lot of times teams are not having anybody hold the rock in the house. They'll agree on a position and a spot, they mark it out, and then the opponent goes down, especially when they're throwing hits. This one didn't seem to get out to the rock. Is it gonna? I don't think so. It's gonna catch that top guard. And it does. It does. So Jocelyn not getting that rock out to where she had hoped to, and it was inside right off the start. And this leaves a great opportunity for Scott and Becky to score a deuce. If they can hit that blue into the blue, should be able to poke that yellow one out and should give them a deuce. I don't know if they can get 3, but I think they can if they angle it right. If they hit about I'd say a quarter and under of that blue rock, I think there's a chance to score 3 here. Anything more, they should at least get the deuce. But they do have to make sure they're on the outside of this blue rock. If it overcurls, then it'll be one more steal for the Peterman Gallant team, who have, until that last shot, not missed or given the Moncurs anything to play with. So great shot by Scott there to set this up. And now Becky has a chance to do a nice shot of her own to take 3 or 2 and get themselves going in the right direction heading into the second half of this game. So Becky down in the hack, getting her crock cleaned and ready to throw. And here we go. Looks like they're taking about edge of 8, if I could tell by Scott's placement. And as I said, they must be on the outside of this rock. They will need a little bit of speed, because if they want to move it, they have to move 2-3 rocks. Looks like she's got a good rock coming. It's got to curl just a little more. Just got to curl a little more to catch it. Is she going to get it? Oh, a great attempt. Absolutely great attempt. And looks like we're going to get a shake here. I think that's enough. There's one more point on the board. That's 10-0. And we do have an early exit to this game. But again, Peterman and Gallant losing yesterday unexpectedly, according to how we ranked them in the pools anyways. And I think in their mind, being arguably the top team here at the event. As you might recall, when we interviewed Rios and Perez, they were one of the favorites coming in, and they said this is a team to watch for. This is a team that they thought is one of the top in the world that they look up to when they're playing against them, and certainly showing it here this morning. As we said, until the last shot of Jocelyn Peterman, I don't think we'd seen any miss from this team yet. So Moncur ran into a really hot and a team that really needed and wanted to win here. So, but that puts them still at 1-1, having beaten Desjardins yesterday, and lots of game left. And a great showing for Peterman Gallant to get them off to a better start than yesterday's game and getting them to 1-1 as well. As we quickly look to the other sheets, on sheet 1, Jones and Lang took 2 more in 3, and they're now up 4-0 after 3. As we look over to sheet 2, Pinko and Dunstan responded with one of their own in 2 to tie it up, and then in 3, Officer and Crothers took 1, and they're up now 2-1. And as we look over at sheet 4, we haven't seen the score put up for the third end yet, but we certainly see that it's still, after 2 ends of scoring anyways, 2-0 for Albrecht and Wozniak, the team that beat Peterman and Gallant yesterday. If you want to hang with us for just a while, we're going to grab an interview here if we can from either Jocelyn Peterman, Peter Gallant, or the Moncurs, and just get a little bit of their feeling about the game. So just hang on one moment. We'll see if we can't grab one of them for an interview. Well, we're welcome back. As we saw, Peterman and Gallant, commanding performance, taking 1 in 4 to win the game 10-0 over Moncur and Moncur. We've been joined by Jocelyn Peterman. Thank you very much for coming to see us. So how has your time been so far at the event?
It's been great. Yeah, we're just 2 games in now, so just kind of getting into the swing of things.
Yeah, you obviously one of the favorites here, and we interviewed Rios and Perret yesterday after their game. We said, who's the team you watch out for? And they said they feel that the top team that they keep an eye on is yourself and Brett. So some great praise there, but also a team that's expected to do well. So yesterday in your first game, obviously not the result you wanted, still a close game. How did that go, and what did you do today to correct that or to make the change?
Yeah, it was a good game yesterday, and they made a good shot to win in the end. We just kind of missed some opportunities, or I had some shots on my last one to make the game a different story. So felt better about it today, and hopefully we keep going on that train.
Well, we told the viewers when we came on that you certainly had the one loss and didn't want to have another, and felt a little bad for Moncur because from my recollection until your final shot there, you guys hadn't missed any shots that game. You had your draw weight down, you had the ice figured out, and you really put on a school there. In the first few ends, you were putting them all right down on the button really well.
Yeah, the ice was a little tricky, and we knew the one draw path, so we just kind of kept sticking with that.
Oh, that's funny. So switching a little bit, you're playing with Jennifer Jones' team this year. Bit of a change for you. How have you enjoyed that, and what's the experience been like?
Yeah, it's been awesome. We've been playing a ton, and obviously they're all so experienced and so great at the game. So I've been learning a lot, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like you fit right in. So it's a great team, and with you going there, it's great, and it's great to see another Alberta curler rising to the top and playing at such a great level with a great team. Anybody you want to give a shout out to or say hi to out there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Come on, there's a
Hi,
bunch of
Mom.
viewers. That's great. Well, we had a chance to watch your dad play yesterday, and certainly playing with Brittany Tran, someone you played with. So a lot of great curlers at this event, a really good field, and I'm hoping it's great you have a chance to spend some time with all of them while obviously still trying to be serious to win $10,000 in the end.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Everyone's playing in this, so it's fun and still a great competition.
Want to go and prepare for your next game. Appreciate you taking the time to speak with our fans, and thank you very much, and good luck for the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Well, our feature game is off. We will leave the live stream going because you can see what's happening over on sheet 4 to some respect. We don't have overhead cameras for that. And we will continue to update you on the games as they go, letting you know what's happening. All the games are just either in the fifth or just finishing up last shots in the fourth, so we should have a midway update for you here. And we'll keep bringing you that if you'd like to stay on. And we remind all our viewers that our next game is at 11:30, and we'll be bringing that to you from here in Banff. And in that game, we will have the team of Chiz Thomas and Roth Nurnberg. So I'm sorry, I take that back. Not yet. The game that we'll have at 11:30 is actually Strong Scofen versus Fowler, and Fowler being the English national champions, brother-sister team, and Strong Scofen, team out of the Yukon Northwest Territories. We'll learn a bit about them, but certainly Wade Scofen, no stranger to anybody. He has done a lot of coaching over many years at many great championships, and another husband-wife team, and so we look forward to that game coming up at 11:30. But in the meantime, like we said, we'll keep bringing you updates of the other games and let you know how it's happening. And if you like to keep watching, you'll be able to see parts of sheet 4 to our right and what's going on there. Well, as I look over at sheet 2, we got Officer Crothers playing Pinko and Dunstan, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue stones that are either in or touching the 4-foot, and we have 3 yellow stones that are either in or touching the 4-foot. In the end, it looks like either 1 yellow or 1 blue that is counting. It's hard to tell from our angle, but a lot of rocks in play and a lot of action. So we're down, I believe, to the final throw. No, we're not. We're down 1 more throw for Officer Crothers, followed by an opportunity for Dunstan and Pinkto. So we could have a big score here, and we'll keep you informed of what's going to happen over there. All right, we just had a quick chat with Becky and Scott Moncur. They're just getting changed, and Scott's going to come down and join us. As we said, he silver medalist in the university championship back when he was at the University of Windsor as a skip, and certainly has won a numerous club league championships when he plays at curling clubs in mixed as well as men's. So a chance to talk to Scott and find out what it's like to play back at that elite level and to play against some great teams and be surrounded by them out in the ice. Look forward to hear what a club curler's take is on the event and playing against some of these great people. So if you hang on with us, he's just getting changed and should join us in the next couple of minutes. All right, we're back here at the Live in the Lounge in Banff, where we're going to talk in just a moment to Scott Moncur about the game they just had with Jocelyn Peterman and Brett Gallant. First, over on sheet one, Ishida and Vilmer, the junior team out of Banff, have put one on the board in four, so they're down 4-1, very respectable heading to the second half of that game. We do not know what happened in sheet two yet with Pinko and Dunstan against Officer and Crothers. We do know that Pinto and Dunstan, making their last shots, scored at least one and possibly a deuce. We're just waiting to see that marked up, and no change so far on sheet number four, other than 3-0, three straight singles by Albrecht and Wozniak. Again, they beat Peterman and Gallant yesterday. So I'm joined right now with Scott Moncur. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I was doing better about an hour ago, but I'm doing well.
That's great. So just wanted to get a bit of a perspective. We told the listeners earlier that you played at quite a high level. You've been a top club curler in league play, winning a number of those in men's leagues as well as mixed, and played at the University of Windsor, silver medalist in Canada. So you're no stranger to this competition, to playing against some of these athletes. How did it feel out there playing a game against some of the world's best?
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It wasn't our best performance, but we really enjoyed the experience. It was tricky. It took us a little bit of time to kind of find draw weight, and we missed one against a team like that. They make you pay, and they did to us there this morning.
Yeah, we said to the viewers earlier that Peterman and Gallant were, in our recollection, upset by Albrecht and Wozniak. It was expected to go the other way, although we should take nothing away from that team. A great Swiss player under the Terzani team Albrecht has been, and of course Wozniak playing with McEwen, so we shouldn't expect anyone to just win or lose, especially in mixed doubles where anything can happen. But certainly Peterman and Gallant didn't want to lose another one and needed to win that, and they did come out, and by my recollection, other than Jocelyn's last shot, didn't miss one. Didn't leave you a lot of openings, did they?
No, they didn't. There were a couple ends there with 2 rocks to go where we didn't have a chance to score, and we kind of had to take some risks. They really didn't miss. And it started from the first shot of the game. We were a little bit light on our first draw. They put one right on the screw, and that's the way it went.
Well, I saw afterwards, nice. You had a little chat with them. Did just more pleasantries? Talk a little bit about strategy or potential shots, or?
Yeah, it was nice. They're a great couple. We really enjoyed their company out there. And after the game, we were just chatting a little bit about the ice, kind of how that path that we play in practice and throw the last draw to, it was perfect when the game started. But every other path was quite a bit different. So we were just talking about how it was a little bit tricky if you had to throw a shot that wasn't, in that specific path.
Good. So obviously you used to live in Canmore for a little while. 2015 moved to Cochrane. What's it been like to come back to Bow Valley? I'm sure you come and visit and have friends and the like, but you're back now. I'd say as a celebrity and a star. When you walked into Canmore, you hear the applause, you hear the murmurs from the members that remember you and know you as a great curler. What's it feel to be back in that atmosphere again?
It's incredible. We do try to come back, 5-6 times a year or as often as we can. And the curlers at Canmore still treat us like a local team. They really embrace us, welcome us back. They offered us some practice ice to get ready for this event, which we took advantage of. And last night was really special. Getting that win in Canmore, and then after the game, having all those old friends come up and see their excitement along with ours.
That must be a great curling moment for you. One last thing. I mean, obviously I'm biased. We're biased as a committee. We talk about Banff and Canmore and the like. But, you moved away for a little bit now. I can't say enough about the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. Not just great people, great facility, pour their heart out. You see how many volunteers you have. You see that the place was packed. I mean, what kind of atmosphere is it like there? And tell us maybe a little bit about that Canmore Curling Club and what it means to the community and about the people that make that place work.
Yeah, it is an incredible club. It's the best club I've been a part of, and I've curled at kind of 4 or 5 over the years. The membership they're loyal. They support the leagues. They support the club, especially come golf season. They like that part, but they all give back too. Dennis Graham, Karen Drever. They put a lot of work into that club, and people respect it and support it.
Well, you know what? They speak highly of you as well. It's great to see that mutual admiration. It's great to have you back in the community playing competitive again, and great to see your first win, as you said, on that home ice in front of friends. And we wish you luck the rest of the way. A hard game against a team that needed to win and didn't give you any chances, but you guys are still smiling and right back at it this afternoon, I believe, in Canmore?
Yeah, 2 more in Canmore today. So.
Wonderful. So good luck with those, and we'll hopefully be talking about you and seeing you later on. Thanks for coming on, Scott.
Great. Thanks a lot.
That was Scott Moncur, part of the Moncur team that yesterday upset Desjardins, their first game getting a win, and this morning getting their first loss. So they're at 1-1, 2 games at home, as we'd say in Canmore later, and never know what can happen. They're certainly capable of winning a few more and creating some interest in that pool. That pool, as we said, Sigvalson, McMillan with 1 win, and they're on the ice playing in Canmore against Desjardins right now. We've got Albrecht Wozniak, who beat Peterman and Gallant, so they have 1 win, and they're up right now on Good and Day, who did lose to Sigvalson and McMillan yesterday. And as we met Peterman and Gallant this morning, who lost yesterday, bounced back with a decisive win in statement this morning. So that pool is all over the place right now, and certainly the favorites have a bit of work to do to get themselves back in that position, but seem to be on track. As we take a look now over on sheet 1, where Bill Murray are playing against Jones and Lang. Jones and Lang managed to take 4. So obviously getting a little aggressive here later on in the ends and taking 4 to go up 8-1 after the 5th end. They're now playing back in the 6th end with Hammer going to Vilmer and Ishta. As we look over at sheet 2, it looks like Pinko and Dunstan did just get... Looks like they got 2. They did get 2 in 4, so they're leading 3-2 over Crothers after halfway of the game. And Officer and Crothers do have the hammer. And back over on sheet 4, where Albrecht and Wozniak are playing against Good and Guy. Good and Guy got on the board in the 4th, getting their first point. So after 3 singles by Albrecht and Wozniak, Good and Guy on the board, it's 3-1, and Albrecht and Wozniak do have the hammer. So if you're on the live streaming, you're able to keep a bit of an eye over in the game on the right, a bit of an eye on the far end of the other 2 sheets on the left, and we'll continue to bring you some scores as it goes on. Our feature game over after 4, 10-0 for Peterman and Gallant over the local team of Moncur and Moncur, who do have, to their credit, the biggest upset so far of the weekend when they beat Desjardins. And just a reminder, 11:30 here in Banff, we'll be bringing you the feature game of Strong Scoffin versus Fowler and Fowler. The other games going on at that time are Chiz Thomas versus Roth Nuremberg, Crump Wilson versus Kerry Hodgson, and Bernard Meek versus Rock in Steinke. A bunch of great games coming 11:30, and a bunch of great games going on right now in Canmore. And we'll be back to Canmore this afternoon at 4:30 to show you live games there. And in fact, our team that will be showing first will be Jones and Lang at 4:30. So make sure you don't miss that live streaming. Well, we're just coming back to give you some updates. Unfortunately, we weren't live on the mic when the sounding loud applause, standing ovation basically from the entire left half of the Banff Curling Lounge as Ishta, Sora, and Annika Villamere as they made an amazing draw to the edge of the button with their second last stone to lie two in the sixth end. Jennifer Jones now throwing her last shot, trying to come down and make a play on those to disrupt that situation and possibly get a steal. Lots of rocks in play over there, but just a tremendous T-line draw by Sora Ishida with Annika Vilmer on the broom to leave herself or themselves at line two here with still two rocks to come. Over on sheet two, we have an extremely exciting and tight game between Officer and Crothers against Pinko and Dunstan. Officer Crothers took one in the fifth end to tie it up, so Dunstan and Pinko have Hammer playing down in sixth, currently sitting one on the button and drawing a second one down that should freeze right up to it. And although they're only lying one, the yellow is proving his great backing, and they have a second blue stacked on top, so certainly in a great position here for Dunstan and Pinko. But Officer and Crothers, they're giving way no slack, and it's really great to see Jill Officer back playing. It was nice to see her in the lounge warming up, and just a great competitor and a great person for our sport and for curling, and really nice to see her back in the atmosphere and around with the players in the lounge. And I know a lot of people in Banff and Camera commented on how excited they were to have Jill Officer coming out and playing. So don't know if this might be something for the future, maybe see her in some more mixed doubles, but if nothing else, she's here at this event, and we're so pleased to have a chance to watch her live again and have her as part of this competition, and obviously showing that she still has that game. Over on Albrecht, Wozniak, and Good and Guy, they're playing in the sixth end. They've not posted the fifth, so we're not sure what's happening. But right now, Albrecht and Wozniak are sitting one on the button with a lot of rocks out front, guarding it all up. So it's going to take Good and Guy moving a few stones and getting a few angles in order to have a chance here to score in this end. And of course, with last rock being with Albrecht and Wozniak, it's a good chance to extend their lead by no less than one. Just going to quickly say a thanks to Donna, who's out there streaming and watching. We do appreciate you being out there, and we also appreciate your comments. Thanks for your kind words, and we do ask anyone who's out there during the games or when the games aren't on, if you have any comments you want to share with us, good, constructive, or otherwise, please do. We'll do our best to respond to you. And if there's anybody you want to hear from, or any players that we might be able to get on to interview that you might like to hear, or questions we could ask them, please send those through. And as we said, we'll do our best. We are here with some of the world's best curlers, international, Canadian, and local, who are playing here all the way through till Sunday. So lots of opportunity to get in and ask some questions. And I don't mind between the events. The players are very approachable, and we've gotten to know them quite well, asking any specific questions and bringing those back to you when we're live on air later on. And of course, live on air later on means 11:30 here in Banff. We have Strong Scofen against Fowler and Fowler. So we'll leave the live stream going so you can see how beautiful it is here. I know a lot of people are probably out on the ski slopes today, getting over a foot of snow last night. It looks like a winter wonderland and just beautiful. And one thing that may not be able to see when you look at the screen of the live scoring, but out the window the players get to look at the mountains and the snow covered, and it's an absolute beautiful scenery that they get to enjoy while they play. Just another thank you and shout out to our sponsors: Qualico, our major sponsor, the Malcolm Hotel, Visions Electronics, Bow Valley Credit Union, our silver sponsors, and of course many curling and local businesses who stepped up to help make this event the special and unique event that it is. So many thank you to all those businesses and companies that help make it happen. You can see in the far left corner the small windows. Just above those, you can see the lower frame are large 10-foot windows all along the top of this curling rink. Players, while they're trying to play, are very much distracted by Mount Norquay, that is just out the window, covered in snow. You can actually see some skiers up there, and of course the wildlife that do like to come up through the woods that are just outside the back here. We get many elk that are out there watching and actually coming up to the window to see the players at times. So just a winter wonderland, and while the players enjoy inside curling, they are often distracted by what is happening outside. Well, Reed Crothers showing his ability at last rock hits. He just made a great shot on the center situation that was happening on their sheet to clear everything away but 2 stones. So Pinko and Dunstan still sitting solidly locked on a back yellow on the button. So they are sitting 2, looking at possibly playing it and opening up the center bit by playing off their blue, knocking the yellow out and rolling to the side and splitting the house into 3 and lying 3 late in that end. So certainly Pinko and Dunstan are great opportunity here to put some solid pressure on, and in the pivotal 6th end, as we often say in curling, if they can score a few multiples, it'll make it hard for Crothers and Officer to come back on that. So we'll keep our eye on that game as it goes. Successful. Ishta and Vilmir were able to take 2 against Jones in Lang in 6, and that means they will keep playing. It is 8-3, but power play has been invoked by Jones and Lang, and we'll see how that plays out for them. Over on sheet 4, Wozniak, Albrecht, they were able to take advantage of having last rock in a good situation in the house to take 2 more, take a commanding 6-1 lead after 6. Certainly Good and Guy will have the hammer down 6-1. Will need to make something happen here to give themselves a chance with only 2 ends left. So we'll keep updating you on what's happening as we go. We'll just pause for a little moment here from the commentating to update some live scoring, but please enjoy the stream and what's happening, and we'll be back with you shortly with some comments. Well, just getting caught up here on the sheet one, Jones, Lang, Vilmarishta. They play the seventh end and have shaken. We haven't seen another score posted, so as it sits right now, 8-3. Not sure what happened in 7, but they have shaken that game over. And Jones and Lang earning the victory, but Ishta and Villamir getting not just a single in one and a deuce in another, and a great thrill for Annika to play against Jennifer Jones. Certainly one of her heroes in the world of curling, and a great chance. And they're getting a big ovation now, if you can hear behind me, as they come off the ice. And being the competitors that Jones and Lang are, it was great to see them out there talking with the Vilmar Initiative all throughout that game. Just shows the type of class that many of the curlers have, and certainly demonstrated there with Jones and Lang, and how they handled that game with the two juniors, and a camaraderie that they had. So just great to see, and a great part of this event. We have said it's an event that club curlers get a chance to play and be around the top mixed doubles in the world, and certainly those top players are showing the class that we all know that they have in the game, and great to see. I also want to, if you look straight now ahead, that is Kevin Beauchamp. Kevin Beauchamp is the head ice maker at the Crestwood Curling Club in Edmonton. We talked a bit yesterday with Kevin and about Crestwood, a great club there with great ice and just a great committee running events. I've been there not to compete, but to coach and to support a son playing, and lots of respect for that curling club in Alberta. If you get a chance, you should go there. As I said, great people and great ice. And that's Kevin right in front of you. He is here along with Darren Moulding, who's the head ice maker from the Lacombe Club. They are helping our local ice makers as much for extra hands as well as extra expertise. And their job is one job only, and that is to get the ice in as good a shape as they can for our curlers. What does that mean? That means between 5 and 6 feet of curl, and that means between 14 and 15 second draw times between the hog line. And so far, we've seen those. In Canmore yesterday, I was told we were getting 15-second draws. A little slower in Banff, just over 14, but this morning, Kevin was saying we got up to 15, a little slower start to the ice. It's a little colder in the building, so it didn't start off at that, but it certainly got to 15 as it's gone on. And as you watch some of this curling, the rocks are gliding nice. We're getting great curl, and that makes for great shot making. It also makes for those people that are better curlers usually will rise out in those situations. A little more handle is needed. A soft handle will often allow that rock to just take off on you. So a little more positive release is what you need. And of course, it's a little bit more like arena ice when you get that type of curl and speed, which is what these top players are used to. So I'm going to see if I can grab Jennifer Jones for a moment and talk about that game. So just hang on, and we may be back with you in just a moment. As we mentioned just a few minutes ago, the game ending over on sheet one, that was Vilmarishta from the Banff Curling Club playing against Jones and Lang. Jones and Lang pulling out the victory and looking good so far in this tournament. Very pleased to announce that we have Jennifer Jones, who's joined us here for just a few minutes to give us some chat before she goes off and gets ready for the next game. So Jennifer, first of all, welcome, and how's it like to be back in Banff and Canmore?
Oh, this is one of the most beautiful places in Canada, so it's always a treat to come here and just to soak up the mountains and the atmosphere and the amazing curling hospitality here. So we're very excited to be here.
Well, this club loves you, loves having you here. You've been here for Skins game in the past. Really excited to have you back this year again for the Skins game in just a few weeks. But before we talk about that, today you played against Sora Ishida, who has played competitive curling in Japan, and Annika Vilmer, a junior curler here at the Banff Curling Club. And as you may know, because you've been to the TSN Skins games, and Annika's been there and seen you, you are her idol and her hero in the curling world. And what was it like to play against her, and how did she play?
Oh, they played great. She's just a lovely young woman, and I can't wait to see what her curling future holds. They definitely have some competitive fight out there, and they made some really good shots right till the end.
Well, you know, talking to her parents, how nervous she's been anticipating this game ever since the draw came out. So it was great to see they went to the seventh end. And, you know, one thing I noticed, and a lot of people talk about, is how gracious the competitive curlers have been out here, especially with some of the club curlers that they've come to play against. And just watching you out there, and you and Brett, and talking with that team, it's just great to see. And it's great for our sport to know the approachability of these elite athletes and the way that they handle these situations.
Yeah, it's fun. I think one of the great things about curling is that all curlers are just so thankful for the privilege of competing and all of the fans that have kind of rooted us on. So we're very thankful, and we want to meet as many people as we can. And you know, it's great to come here and see so many great curling fans.
You're playing well this year as a team Jennifer Jones in the ladies circuit. We did get a chance to watch Jocelyn Peterman today play with Brett Gallant in a dominating victory. Jocelyn, a great addition to your team. How's that been going so far this year?
Oh, Joss is just such a great player and a great person and a great teammate. So we're really thankful that she's on the team. We're having a ton of fun, winning a few games along the way, and you know, hopefully we'll pick it up a notch come the spring, I guess, or the Scotties, and see what we can do.
And finally, Jill Officer obviously retiring. A lot of people enjoy watching Jill. It's great to have her out here. She's playing with Reed Carruthers, and we're seeing her back playing a little bit. What's it like to see her back in around the scene here at the mixed doubles event?
Oh, it's always fun to play to see Jill out here. She's one of my best friends. So she's played with us in an event or two this season, and she hasn't gone too far. So it's great to see her making a few shots. She's looking like she's got to run back for 5 to win the game here. So it's a big one. I've been watching while I've been interviewing. Sorry.
No problem, Jennifer. Look, we want to let you get back to some of the fun around here and get ready. So thanks for coming on, speaking to us, and we will be covering you later at 4:30 today in Canmore. So good luck.
You got it. Thanks very much.